Back to another insider, and today we are going to talk about reviewing our work and making sure that we have the right choices and that the quality of our work is never jeopardized. So come with me and let's talk about reviewing our work, proofreading, making choices, questioning ourselves, and all these types of decisions that we need to do in every project. So let's talk about reviewing. Well, if you are a translator already, this is no news and obviously something that you are quite used to do and you need to do basically in every project. It's something quite straightforward. But if you are now starting your career as a translator, there might be some questions that arise from this, and sometimes I find more information is needed, and people need to have the right tools and be more confident about their work. One of the things that I say, and I've been saying this since I started, is that it is very important to be very comfortable with the choices that you make in every project. It means that every single time that you have a project, when you read out your translation, it should be fluent. It should be as if it was firstly produced in that language for that audience. And for you, it should sound really fluent, should sound good, and you should be happy to read it, and you should understand the message just the same way as you did the target language, or should I say the source language text, either it be English or otherwise. In my case, it's from English into Portuguese, as you know. But of course, I don't know, you guys may be working with other languages, and I believe that this applies to any language pair that you've been working with. So, first, don't settle for the same options, for the first option that comes up. Sometimes, and we know that, part of our job is to read the project, even because we have to know about it before we even quote. Well, I do read my projects before I quote, so I see the complexity, I see what type of language it has, possible issues and stuff, what is the subject, so obviously I can make the appropriate quote for my clients. So when you read, make sure that you get all those little words that you think, well, I might need to research on this. Obviously, if you use a CAT tool, that's very useful. As soon as you put your file into Word, and your CAT tool will automatically pick up the words that you have previously used and will suggest translations for you. But of course, if you don't use a CAT tool, you will have to do it on your own, and you will have to go and do your research if need be. Of course, if that term or terms have already been used, and I strongly recommend you create your own glossaries. I spoke about that in our last Insider 2 weeks ago. And you know, it's important that you always have those glossaries open as well, so you really know if you don't have a CAT tool and you have the glossaries. It's always important because you can just go and look at your glossaries and see, okay, I've used this word, this is the option that I have back then, is it still current? Because sometimes, and we know that many words can have different meanings in different languages, and sometimes the same word may have a different meaning. So we need to really see if in the context that is still a valid term, is still a good term, just as if it was your cat tool, because that's basically what happens. The cat tool just go and suggest that translation because it has been used for that particular word or expression before, and then you are the one who's going to go there, have a look, and see if you agree with the suggestion that the cat tool is providing you and accept it or not. So again, the cat tool is not translating the text per se. It's not doing the job for you. You have to do it yourself. You have to look and see if actually the suggestion is correct, or you have to change it. So in that context, and having said that, don't settle for the first option. When you are looking for a certain term that may come up in a project and you do your research, you get one term and you may be happy with it at the time. Okay, you put it there, you carry on, you do your project, and sometimes, and this happens to me several times, sometimes in a project, because I read and I reread my projects before delivering the project to the client. So I make sure there's no typos, there's nothing. And sometimes when I do read, I find I don't really like this term anymore. And then I change it for something else. And sometimes even what happens is you read the text in the other language, and because you already saw the original, so the source text, you know the message, and then when you read, it's that fluency. It's that fluency that I was talking about at the beginning of this Insider. You read and that term may not make sense anymore to you, or may not make the text as fluid, as fluent, if you like, as it should be. And then you decide, this is not okay, I'm going to change this. And you might choose another option. And this is quite good. This is something that happens all the time. I do that a lot of times. So reviewing it allows you to reconsider your options and possibly even find better solutions, because sometimes we are just doing it and we're looking at the text, and at the time that's what comes up, that's what comes to mind, and we put that as an option. We put a word, a specific word or expression as an option. But then if we go back and we review the entire work once it's all done, we have the opportunity of really reading it out loud. I always do that, and see if really it makes sense, if it's fluent, if it looks like it was written for that particular audience, which is very important. And of course, if we're not deviating from the source message, because that's very important. It's in our code of ethics, and it's very important. We cannot change the message. We cannot change anything. Of course, we know that sometimes it's not possible to literally translate a text. In fact, that would be totally incorrect in most cases. However, we need to be loyal to the message. We need to pass exactly the same message, have exactly the same impact. I have already spoken about this many times. If there is a slang word, if there is a swearing word, we have to translate it with the slang equivalent word in the target text. If we don't like that sort of language, we are free to decline the job on that basis and saying, well, I'm sorry, this is not the type of language I would like to work with. However, if you do accept the job, and if it has a very strong word, a slang word that you don't like, a very offensive language, you would have to use the very offensive language in the target language, because you have to pass exactly the same message. And if the message is offensive, well, you have to be offensive. And then it's up to you if you really want to accept the job and use that offensive language, or if you decline the job because you don't want to be involved in anything that has offensive language. This is a topic for another video. I think I've already actually made videos about this and written articles about this. Now, question your choices. Another thing that is important. When you review your work and you look at those options that you have, all the words question your choices. Is this the correct choice? Go look at multiple sources. Try to have the best sources. Try to have good glossaries, good dictionaries at home, good glossaries for that particular field, if it's a specific field. Try to have great sources that you know whatever options you find are going to be good options for your job, for the project that you are working with. I think that is very important. But even so, question your choices. If you have chosen a particular term, question it. Does this sound right to me? Does this sound exactly what it is? Exactly what the original text, the source text is talking about? Am I really passing the right message here? Or is this somehow changing the message? Or maybe not giving exactly the same impact as some other word? And in that case, you need to search for that other word. So it's another very important thing. It doesn't mean that I'm implying that you should be or should have a lack of confidence and should not be confident in yourself. This is actually not that at all. You should be confident in yourself, and part of this questioning yourself, questioning your options, is part of that confidence. Are you really confident that this is correct? This is okay? So if you are confident, if you think, yes, this is the right option, that's all we need, that's all you need, you are right, you think you chose the right term, and that should prevail, then so be it, send it to the client, and it's all good. But sometimes, for some reason, when you do that revision and you read that text, you might sound, this term seemed good when I actually put it, but now it doesn't look that good. I think I need to do something to change things around. And that's what I mean about questioning your choices. And obviously, read it more than once. Our brain is very tricky, and if you work in translation or in any other field that requires you to write a lot, you know that our brain is insanely tricky. We might be writing a full text, and then when we read it, our brain sometimes is going to trick us into read it correctly, even though there is a typo. And we know that. And that's why I've already seen in social media many times, sometimes they put a post where a sentence is written with mismatch letters. The words have the letters all swapped around, and you are still able to read that because your brain catches up and ends up helping you, and you read the text correctly. So in that particular case, it might be very useful because you are able to read the text, but if it's in a project and you have to deliver that project to your client, you really don't want to have typos or any sort of errors in your work, in your text, because obviously that will damage your reputation and your business. So I would recommend read it multiple times. Have a break between reading, and have a little break, maybe your lunch break or something like that, if that's the time, or have a 5-minute break. Try to deviate from that text for a while and then pick it up. Or, of course, if you work in a team and if you have someone on site that can proofread your work for you, then even better, because that would be a second set of eyes and would be someone that had not been working in the project and is just reading a text, and obviously will pick up those errors and mistakes easier and faster than you. Of course, if you have someone proofreading on site, that person may actually find other suggestions that they can put forward to your attention, and that's perfectly fine. I think that's the great thing about working in a team. So I think that is good. Another thing that I should say is, if you obviously you work with Microsoft Word, everyone does, and make sure the corrector that you have in your Microsoft Word, in your application, is actually in the language that you use. And that means in the variant, if there is more than one variant, which in a lot of languages there is, make sure that is using your variant, because if there is differences, then your corrector may be signing a possible error and correcting it incorrectly, if you understand, if you know what I mean, because it might be actually correcting it in a different variant, and in the country where your work is going to go to, they may not write it that way, and they may not use that sort of language. So make sure that also your corrector, your grammar, is actually in the correct variant, and that goes for your Grammarly if you use it. I would strongly recommend it you do if you work with English. And I think that is a very, very, very important thing. Always review your work. Always make sure that, don't rush things. Don't rush things. Yes, I know we have deadlines. Yes, I know that we need to be prompt and we need to be efficient. But think about it. Think about it. Efficiency means that when you deliver that project, it's the final product for your client, and your client can use it for whatever purpose they need. And they won't need to go and pay for someone to review your project and go back and forward with a proofreader, and then go back to you, and then go back to the proofreader, and all that process. That is going to waste them time and money. So think about it. It's better to have 5 minutes in your deadline allocated for that. It's better to take a little bit of time from your deadline for that, and I always do it. So you make sure that you read and reread the project, and you make sure that is correct, that does not have any errors or typos or anything like that, because that is efficiency, and that is also quality. And if your client sees that every single time you deliver a spotless job without errors, without anything, of course they're going to come back, because they will trust. They will build that trust relationship, because they know, well, if I use this translator, I know that the quality of the work is going to be good. I know that it's not going to be any errors, and I won't have any issues. The product that they give me, it's the final product that I can use for whatever I need, and I don't need to pay any more money in reviewing or any other issues, or maybe retranslate the project, the text, because it was not done properly. And believe me, sometimes that happens, unfortunately, when clients go and look for unqualified translators, which is also a very, very serious issue. But obviously it's not something to be discussed here. We know that it exists. Maybe I will do a video about that. The importance of qualifications and actually the role of associations in this. I know I wrote a lot of articles about this. I may do a video about it, but today I really wanted to stress the importance of reviewing and the importance of taking our time to do our job and not rushing things, because the more we rush, the more prone to error we'll become. And obviously that's not what we want. So this was my intake on reviewing and providing good quality to our clients. I hope you liked it. I hope you like this insider with this view of our work and reviewing our work and the importance of this as a business decision. I believe this is a very important business decision, because you know, when we are working on a project, yes, we need to look at our bottom line. We are working for ourselves and our interest, and obviously having an impeccable work without errors, without any issues. It's obviously good for our business and for us professionally, but it's also good for our clients that will have an impeccable final product that they don't need to go and pay more money for revision or pay more money sometimes for the translation to be redone if it is of very poor quality, as sometimes happen with unqualified translators. So I think this is part of running a business, and we all know we run a business, and this is why I always tell everyone we are business people and we are running a business, and we should stay away from that freelancer idea that unfortunately has a very sad connotation, which is not true, that a freelancer is an unqualified professional that is just there for an extra cash. That's not true. We are full-time workers, and we run our businesses, and this is our way of living. So I think this is a very important issue. But I would like to know your input. What do you think? How do you do your revision? Do you have someone to help you out with the revision process of your projects? Do you work in a team? How does that work? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I would really like to know your input on this. And in regards to terms, what happens? Do you change your translations often, or you most of the times stick to your gut feeling, your first choice, and you stick to it? I know that I use both. Sometimes I have projects where I come up with a certain terminology and I stick to it until the end, and then when I review it, yes, this is correct. This is my gut feeling. This is what I feel it's correct, and I just go with it. But sometimes it happens that when I go and I reread it and I review it, I look at it and say, this doesn't sound right. I should change this, and I do change it. So it's not a question of either or. It's not a question that you have to do it all the time, or you don't do it, period. Sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. It's always, again, it's always trusting your gut feeling. It's always reading and rereading and making sure that it sounds fluent for you. It sounds natural when you read it in the target language. You should feel that that text was written for that audience, for that target audience. And if you are reading and if that is your feeling, then don't change it. If when you read it, there is a few things that don't sound right, don't sound fluent, don't sound natural, then I think you should consider reviewing it again and try to find a better way to perfect it. That's what I would do, and that's what I do all the time. So, you know, I've got a school, updated words on Teachable, updated words learning on Teachable, that is. And this month, because we are at the end of the financial year, I'm running a very, very special promotion that gives you 30% off any of my courses or plans. All you need to do is to sign in at Updated Words Learning at Teachable, and I'll leave the link below. And you just have to type in the code word EOFY, EOFY 24, EOFY 24, and you get this amazing discount. You know, you can also buy now and pay later, use that sort of arrangement with any of the platforms, and then you can easily pay the courses with a discount, which is a plus, in very convenient installments. So buy now, pay later, and buy with 30% discount. The promotion is valid until the end of June, so that is the 30th of June 2024. Before I go, you know, put a like on the video and subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new insider every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching, and I would also like to inform you that our next Insider will be in August, because I will have a few things and I'll be away these next weeks. So there won't be any insiders and there won't be any articles. So I'll be returning in August. So until then, have a good time, have a good July. Don't forget, just go and sign in one of my courses and take advantage of this wonderful opportunity, 30% discount. And I'll see you in August. Thank you. Bye.